India is producing world-class biosimilars. We are good in manufacturing biosimilars, we are good in R&D operations, but the discovery part is something where we are clearly lacking. Developments are taking place in pockets, but what I see is that we are late entrants.
Hello and welcome to the Biologics Platform Conversations, where we bring the voices that are shaping the future of biopharma in India and beyond. And I'm honored to welcome Mr. Sandeep Majumdar, a highly accomplished biopharmaceutical profession with over 30 years of experience spanning over the project management, process development, and manufacturing. Across his career, Mr. Sandeep has played a key role in enhancing the productivity, improving the efficiency, and reducing the cost of goods while also advancing sustainability in biopharmaceutical manufacturing. He has been a part of team delivering the complex, high-impact programs in biomanufacturing and also biopharmaceutical and advanced molecular development, making him uniquely positioned to discuss the future of data-driven and the resilient biomanufacturing. So, welcome you, sir, to the Biopharma
Thank you very much.
Conversations.
Thank you.
So, once we begin with this conversation, like before we begin, I would want to know, like, how has your journey been so far in this industry?
So this has been a very exciting journey. Actually, quite frankly, the journey started with that urge to learn. Basically, that was the most important thing when this journey started, and it was a career which was always the learning was taken precedence over every other thing. And what has happened is that once the and it was also important that as I grew in my career in this journey, I had to do a lot of unlearning and get some new set of learnings to and adapt to the skills that are required for the purpose. So overall, very exciting and also very challenging. At times, there has been moments of despair, but a great team, excellent manpower that I had, and very helpful bosses. And of course, being an alumni of ICT, I also tend to get a lot of help from my alma mater as well.
Yes, that's great to know, sir. And when we talk about Intas as a company, Intas has been a pioneer in biosimilar development from India. So, what have been the biggest shifts in India's capability and the credibility in this space over the last decade?
So practically, my journey throughout this biosimilar career also spans around. I have seen this the growth path. I have seen the case where we were in a very nascent stage. There were
Okay.
not very many plants which were manufacturing biologics at scale. So there were some small scale manufacturers were there, but not at the scale at which we are doing. And this transition has primarily been fueled by the acceptance of biosimilars as a product and the quality of biosimilars that India is
Yes.
producing. So India is producing world-class biosimilars, so the acceptance grew, and the way the things have jumped. For example, for Intas only since I have joined, we have a growth trajectory of almost 10 folds in 10 years. So every year, kind of, you were jumping one fold.
That's
So
good.
in terms of revenue, also in terms of volumes, so practically it's the market acceptance for a quality product at a
Yes.
reasonable cost. That's what we have delivered.
And when it comes to building a global class manufacturing and the regulatory readiness for the biosimilars, how Intas sets apart its goal in this?
See, Intas is end-to-end kind of a company where it starts with research and development right from bench scale to the patient's bed. It is end-to-end kind of a company and it's fully integrated. The what's more important, the integration part of it. So any risk in manufacturing is well perceived by development, and they
Yes.
take the corrective action. And even when we are scaling up, Intas always has this precedence of hand holding. So all the technical team, they handhold each other. So it's a extremely intricate group work and very technically challenging and evolving situation for Intas. what differentiates is one of the things that Intas has brought in over the years is the compliance part and
Okay.
demonstration of compliance. So Intas, all the plants are like, the automation degree of automation is very high. The recording of data, the capture of data, data archival, retrieval,
Yes.
all these things are mostly now going towards automated this thing. And recently, since we got FDA approval, so that kind of gives a stamp or an approval to the system that Intas has been following.
Yes. And when we talk about expanding the horizons, like moving from biosimilars to novel biologics, do you see India evolving from being a biosimilar powerhouse to also contributing to the novel biologics digitally and globally?
So that's a question which I will require a lot of work. Quite frankly, we are good in manufacturing biosimilars. We are good in R&D operations. We are good in, but the discovery part is something where we are clearly lacking
Yes.
currently. And the new molecules, for example, novel molecules or ADCs, let us say bispecifics, those developments are taking place in pockets. But there is what I see is that we are late entrants in that now. Now we have to do the catching up game,
Okay.
and so that is where we have to put our additional resources, and most of the R&D focus will have to go in a separate manner,
Okay.
because the same thing cannot work for both. So it should be a focused approach towards that in next few years.
And coming back to Intas, how does Intas balance the investment in the proven biosimilar assets, like while also exploring the next generation biologics or the upcoming AI-enabled bioprocessing?
See, what happens is that Intas has in any process especially in biologics, which the process is very intricate,
Yes.
and process is extremely important in the first place. Now, from the process, the data will be generated. So once the data is captured, then only it can go for analysis. So if so, potentially speaking, the automation and AI layer is kind of fourth or fifth layer
Okay.
in the entire automation. So first layer is like your production records that are getting generated has to be picked up automatically.
Yes.
And then there are QC records are there, quality control records are there. Then there are QA records are there. There are material transactions that take place through SAP or ERP. All these things combined form the batch data basically.
Yes.
So AI comes as an analytical layer, according
Okay.
to me currently. AI is an analytics layer which comes as a fifth layer and which can show some good dimensions towards your process, definitely. But to go to that journey, I think one is the authentic data capturing,
Okay.
and what tool to use for AI. Those kind of stuff is a matter of
Much
evolution now. Currently.
important. And as you mentioned about the QC and QA domain, how that is also something which is very important. And as you coming from the India's manufacturing backbone industry, what talent gaps still persist across the upstream, downstream, and this QC QA domain?
Yes, the talent gaps, somehow I have not seen it. See, what metrics do you use to find out a talent gap? For example, it's a question if I pose to myself. The metrics, what I will be using is that how much time talent gets for onboarding,
Okay.
how much time the talent takes for onboarding, for example. So if the so that unfortunately that gap has not reduced much
Okay.
over the years. So it's mostly the on-job training that matters, and that's how it is being done currently. And on-job training takes precedence over other matters is mainly because biologics operations and also QC, as you rightly say, for example, bioassays.
Yeah.
Okay, so they are like very tricky. Even if a new person to get him onboarded, it takes 5 to 6 months of hardcore experience, people guiding him on a day-to-day basis. So we have a little extra manpower because of that in biologics, and that of course doesn't help the cost of biologics. But then this is the model which we are working. If somebody can give a trained asset for immediate deployment, I mean, that is something I'll be very eagerly looking for.
Yes, at least it maintains the regulation part
Correct.
of the whole thing.
Yes.
And how important do you think that, like, what is your view about industry and academia collaboration? Also, considering the fact that you need the trained and skilled on job training kind of platform. So, how important does this industry academia collaboration plays the role?
See, this. I think this is a continuation of your last question only.
Yes.
So I have been with Ratnesh. I've been with ICT with your group as well for last many years rather. And what I have seen that the way this group has evolved into kind of a holistic machinery which brings in all the aspects of development, industry, regulators, all in one podium and discusses things the way it goes forward. This is a perfect launching pad with the kind of biocluster with the new investment also coming up in ICT, which is like, it's a BIRAC grant that we have been able to achieve. So that will form a major base for incubation centers.
Yes.
And there people also will get trained, and some of the method developments and things also can take place. So kind of this will be like, for certain molecules, this method is required.
Yes.
ICT can put up as a kind of a portfolio that this is my portfolio, this is what we have done. If you want something fast, here is where we are.
Yes. And coming back to talking about the policy in India that we have and the capital investments and everything, how important do you think the private capital or the strategic partnership in scaling the operations and entering new market is?
See, it was dormant for a long time. Actually, I have seen this movement of capital only, I think, in last 4 to 5 years.
Okay.
So last 4 to 5 years, the capital is intense capital is being invested because the potential is realized.
Yes.
So the potential is huge, and capital. I always say, if you have not invested the capital on time, it's an opportunity loss,
Yes.
basically. So and the opportunity loss can be multifolds. It will not be multifolds of the capital that is required. So investment of capital has taken a kind of a lot of what I can say huge leap.
Yes.
And it's not a leap of faith. You have figures to kind of corroborate that. Capital investment in CDMOs, for example, if you see the CDMO facilities that are Aragen, for example,
Yes.
has come up with a CDMO facility. Then there is Enzene is coming up with a CDMO facility. So these facilities are coming up is because they want to build world-class facilities for biologics manufacturing, so that, and with this phase 3 waiver currently being done, many small players have become relevant because the
Yes.
clinical cost is not there. So this relevance of small players and the CDMO facility available at your disposal. If you have a molecule that is ready for commercialization, you can just park it at some CDMO,
Yes.
and then the commercialization part of that molecule can be a game between a CDMO and kind of a scientist level organization, and maybe some third party who is doing the testing part. So this all we have seen in US and Europe is a very established model.
Yes. As compared.
So we will be doing the same, but I think the scale of this CDMOs will be huge in here in India.
Oh, I mean, if that's the vision, then definitely
Of
it
course,
will
of
be.
course.
Of course. And rightly said that the vision is clear. Obviously, the CDMOs that have been developed by these companies, they do have a future vision. And when we are talking about companies and all this, policies and regulatory system comes in the picture. So, what kind of particular policy and regulatory support, from your perspective, is now most essential for India to remain competitive in this global biosimilar race that we have?
See, India has to realize, so there is a problem of over-regulation in India.
Okay.
So sometimes there is a over-regulation, and sometimes there is no what I can say regulation which is meaningfully helping anybody.
Yes.
So moment the regulators start asking question, what is the value addition I'm doing? When that question is being asked by the regulator, then that answer will evolve automatically. Like some of the regulations around biosimilars are being relaxed across the world.
Yes.
And of course, now I think our DCGI and all, they have also taken very conscious stance, and they are also following it kind of very closely now. Maybe in last 1 year or so, this movement is has become very active. So I think Indian regulations have also realized that they will have to march in symphony with in synchronization rather with other global authorities, like
Yes.
for example US FDA, EMA, or any other across the world. So what will happen if this harmonization takes place here as well with the other global authorities? So what will happen? Our time to market will reduce considerably.
Yes. If the structure is there,
Correct.
then it will be much more easier.
Correct.
So, last but not the least, what kind of message would you offer to the next generation of young innovators or the young professionals, and also the entrepreneurs who are just entering into the domain of biologic space and the biosimilars? What kind of advice you have for them?
See, my advice will be, the precedence always should be given to the science part first.
Yes.
So your technology, your process, that determines at what cost you'll be producing the product
Okay.
and how good quality product you'll be producing.
Yes.
So bench scale, whatever study is being done, that should be very thorough. And if you are aiming for a new this thing, then of course clinical new entity,
Yes.
biological entity. For a new biological entity, of course, the clinical will be very significant. But for biosimilars world, it's a straightforward answer. Like you have to you are a copycat, so you have to copy exactly the. So your quality target that you
Yes.
determine has to be accurate, and you'll have to absolutely immaculately follow the quality of the innovator.
So before we conclude this whole podcast, I have three quick question, like rapid fire questions for you. So I just need your instinctive answer for those questions. So in one phrase, tell me India's biosimilar advantage
Is talent,
okay.
a lots of talent and manpower, and the ecosystem that India is in. It's a huge market, but at the same time, there is a huge talent also resides. It's how we nurture the talent and how we make use of the talent based on the policies and institutions like
Yes.
ICT or other reputed organizations that will determine the future course of action.
In one word, Biologics Conference 2026 feels like
Yeah, I have. There are. It will not be a justice to the conference if I describe it in. But yeah, the energy and exuberance is where I will say it has been phenomenal.
yes. So complete this sentence. Indian biologics can lead the world if we.
If we manage our resources, number one is resources and backward integration
Okay.
of the process. So like you must have heard in some of the seminars, like we are doing 80 to 90% of what we use in biologics manufacturing or in R&D is all outsourced.
Exactly.
Is not so also insourced rather.
Yes.
So we are all getting it from other countries. So there is a huge scope for backward integration in biologics. Media, for example, media is the most important and most costly ingredient in biologics manufacturing. We don't have a single media company in India.
In India. Okay.
We use disposable bioreactors, we use filters. We don't have any great company in India which manufactures disposable
Niche.
bioreactors
Oh.
or this thing. Don't have any. For example, ICT as an example, if I take, there are many institutions, but since I was a student of ICT, I know for sure, has a phenomenal know-how and technological advantage because we have polymer department, for example,
Yes.
and biopharmaceuticals also. in the same campus. So if you guys can collaborate, we can always come out, because this is all about polymers. You are using ultra low density polyethylene as a contact part for most of the disposable bioreactors and bags and totes and all that. So you can join hands. So there's a huge requirement of collaboration within multiple streams
Yes.
and expertise.
That speaks the thing that yes, the collaborations is the key, I would say.
Correct.
To all of this, because even if you're doing something, someone else is doing, and at the platforms like this we meet each other, and then we discover we can develop something new out of this.
Correct.
And thank you so much, sir. All the
Thank
words
you
were
very
very
much.
insightful for us, this whole
My pleasure
conversation.
talking to you.
Thank you for being here.